agents? Hope you're all doing well and staying decontaminated. Again, my name is Machiavelli. Today I wanted to talk about the current state of LMGs and why the upcoming Black Tusk Retaliation changes that is going to increase the difficulty into the game with the elite PTSU-9 kill squads, whatnot, and why LMGs might actually be king again. I know that might be kind of controversial or whatnot, but just sit back and just hear me out. What you're seeing in this gameplay, this is a blue screen that has absolutely no expertise, and I'm running it with. Is this one had no? This one's tipping scale. I'm running this one with tipping scale, and it does just fine. And I feel like that. And this one's heroic with no directives. Okay, so a retaliation heroic, no directives, no big deal. Why I feel that negotiators and the LMG is so much stronger, and this is where things start to shine. Negotiator's dilemma marks up to multiple targets, and when you wear the backpack, it's 100% damage done to the marked targets for what you're currently shooting. So you're applying 110% damage across those targets. So what does that mean? If one enemy takes cover or gets suppressed, even though you tagged him, you don't stop dealing damage. You just switch targets, and now you're cross-damaging everything at once. Why this matters, especially versus Black Tusk, because let's be honest, drone operators are annoying. Grenadiers, they're also annoying. Black Tusk is also just a harder faction all around. That's how they designed it. With this setup, you don't need direct line of sight when they become behind cover, as long as they're marked. You just shoot a tank, or you shoot a Chungus, or anything that's out in the open for damage out of cover, and everything else just still gets deleted because those priority targets in the backgrounds that shoot grenades, drone operators, they just become deceased. This alone makes the setup extremely strong for Black Tusk fights, especially moving forward when Black Tusk are supposed to be harder in the retaliation. LMGs versus other builds right now. Now, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy my St. Elmo Striker build. This is a fantastic build. It just doesn't shine as much for ambush like a marksman rifle does or an LMG does. My backfire bleed build, strikers, mostly blue cores. That is a fantastic build for assault. And assault is coming up, and I'm going to redefine that build and release another video, because my first video, go gently on me that it was my first video. It's not very good. I just sped through it fast to the point. Here's the build. Here's how it worked out. It was a run and gun kind of thing. The backfire, hazard protection pro, mostly blue cores, etc., etc. But right now, before we even get the upcoming 50,000 modifier combinations, that massive claims that we're getting in the future with the content drops, LMGs just feel different. They feel dominant. In the current ambush global event that we have going on right now, and my quick take is, I'm not a big fan forced into a marksman playstyle, even though determined makes it easier because you get a headshot and then you can follow up with a body shot that counts as a headshot. So that's great. Ambush doubles your damage. LMGs feel better here. They're more consistent. They're more forgiving. You're in more control. You can still take the high ground and have far controlled distances, like if you were a marksman, and then you just know Negotiator's dilemma and mark everything as it's funneling out through the logic spawn system. Heavily armored, detected, etc., etc. Bluescreen plus the expertise upgrade in this game. This Bluescreen's at 0 expertise, and it's shredding just fine. But later on, because I fell in love with it, I upgraded it to level 25 and paired it with Negotiator's Dilemma with Overdog gloves. Now, I'm not sure about the Overdog gloves and how the math is mathing with that, but the combo just feels really strong. So give it a try. You'll feel how strong it is. But just from gameplay, it feels the combo is so strong to me with the LMG sustained fire, and you reload faster, and you get that third quick reload running the gunner specialization. It's phenomenal. And trust me, I also ran the big Alejandro, which fits this playstyle perfectly. I didn't have 5 directives. I just ran heroic. It did just fine, and that thing's a bullet hose. It's like the true bullet king, and it's really fun. I love the big Alejandro, but the clip, it got corrupted, so I couldn't put it in here, and it would make this video a little bit too long. So I'm trying to kind of speed along here, get to the damn point. Looking ahead, the Black Tusk Retaliation as a faction, as I said, one of the hardest in the game with tech drones, aggressive AI. They're fast sprinters, seem to have more HP, and they flank more logically. So with the retaliation changes coming up, difficulty is just going to go up, especially if you can double stack it and you get the elite PTSU 9 kill squad, which from what I'm seeing on the PTS, there's 9 of them. If you haven't tried an LMG build, now's the time. You don't need to add proficiency to the blue screen, but you need to get a blue screen. You might need to optimize it a little bit, but regardless, try it without optimizing it and just get a Negotiator's Dilemma and just see how far you go on heroic with no directives. But give it a try. Now's the time. I'm showcasing the setup on both videos. Tipping Scale was the first. Negotiator's Dilemma is the second. Negotiator's Dilemma is by far my favorite one. So, let me know in the comments below, are you running LMGs right now, or are you sticking with your current build? And after this retaliation is over, I'm going to showcase the gear here for tipping scales, and then I'll let the video play and show how blue screen with 25% increased damage from proficiency. Here's the end of concluding the retaliation. With the 25% more damage through expertise with the Negotiator's Dilemma. I'll talk about that build in the end. I'm going to try and remove some of the fluff here back and forth because this video is going to get really long. I mean, we're already at 7 minutes and 7.5 minutes. I don't really like to go over 8 to 10 minutes. Sometimes things just happen, so just hold tight and wait until the end after I claim Red Dragon. I'll show you the Negotiator's Dilemma. Again, this is the blue screen. No extra damage. Just the tipping scale with the overdogs. Alright, so once again, blue screen, no extra damage, max LMG damage, max damage out of cover, max damage to armor. The way the talent works, if you're not familiar, I can show that in a little bit. Here's my stats, 162,000 damage, 46% crit hit, and relatively high critical hit damage. If you don't know how the talent works with blue screen, you can read it, but basically it adds a stack of 50 onto your agent, and if you spread it with Negotiator's Dilemma, or it reaches the 50 stack, you can either drop a skill that's not a shield skill. So sometimes I'll just drop my Reviver Hive, activate it in case I get surrounded or things are getting a little too close. Everybody gets disoriented. I'll pick it right back up, get right back into the fight, mow everything back down, etc., etc. But once it hits 50, it'll just detonate, and it's like 10 meters within the detonation, and it's a lot of enemies just get packed, especially when they're funneling through. So they all get hit with the disorient, the disruptive pulse, all that good stuff. So this is the second run, and I'll cut some of this out here and get straight to the end, get straight to the final fight and how it works out, and then the actual build. And you can give it a shot. And that's just how I would recommend playing when it comes to the new content for Black Tusk Retaliation. So for this retaliation run, I'm running the blue screen. I have it expertise 25%, weapon damage, max stats on it, damage to armor. And what's great about the blue screen, everybody pretty much knows that it adds different activations based on how many stacks you have to the agent, based on the mark that you're applying on the enemy. Once it reaches 50, it ignites, and this is great because it does massive crowd control on everybody. Clearly, I'm running the quick step for sport mode so I could run a little bit faster. And with this build, all 5 directives are on heroic. It was a cakewalk. And looking at the rest of the build here, obviously you go gunner because extra ammo that you gain when you have your primary weapon out is very, very useful, so you don't need to rely on the pistol. Using Negotiator's Dilemma, which is all red. Crit damage, crit damage, crit damage, crit damage mods in the mass backpack. Using the Equalizer, crit damage. Critical hit chance. You must use the backpack. The backpack gives a measure, which further increases your critical hit damage. Once again, the Equalizer right here. It gives you 5% extra rate of fire, but perfect obliterate is amazing. Once that stacks that weapon damage. And then the overdogs. Now, with the overdogs, these ones are maxed. Much the talent, how it amplifies weapon damage. Now, I'm not sure how the math is mathing with that when it comes to applying to other enemies around you when Negotiator's Dilemma marks targets. Again, there's more Negotiator knee pads, critical hit chance, weapon damage, usual. Anything with a holster. If you mark the targets with Negotiator's Dilemma and Overdogs does some sort of amplification math, it just feels really strong with the Bluescreen LMG. And I'm running with a Reviver High because I do go down occasionally, and the pulse is fantastic because I can just get in higher elevated positions, and much more like a marksman to take control of the battlefield. So give the LMG Negotiator a chance. This thing absolutely wrecks retaliations. And as always, my name is Machiavelli. The Reaper comes for us all, but the Red Reaper keeps going. I'll see you in game.